After Jason's sword defeated Cockburn, seeing that Yen Lai and the others had completely grasped the situation, they returned to their carriage. Regarding the fact that he defeated Cockburn with one sword, Jason had no hesitation in his heart. With the powerful soul-stunning skills brought by the holy-level peak soul, he wanted to frighten a 6th-level low-level spiritual master as long as the opponent was unprepared. It couldn't be simpler. However, Jason also knows that this kind of speculative spiritual skill can only be used to catch others off guard at the beginning. If others know about it and wear some spiritual ornaments that block mental attacks, his soul shock will be completely useless. There's a solution. After all, this soul shock relies on the power of the soul when activated, but when it is released, it still attacks in the form of mental power. Moreover, when encountering some truly powerful masters, the effect of this soul shock will be greatly weakened. Jason felt that if he was facing an 8th-level Imperial Spiritualist, he would probably have to wait until he was at least a 7th-level Imperial Spiritualist before he could have a certain impact on the opponent. With his current mental strength, there is no way to intimidate an 8th-level Emperor Spirit Master. To be truly powerful, you still have to rely on your own strength. Yes, Brother Jace. At this moment, an excited and anxious voice sounded. Jason turned his head and saw Loken of the Mori family. His face was red at the moment, his eyes were looking at him with excitement and anxiety, and there was unconcealed respect and admiration in his eyes. Brother Jace, you must be the kind of strong man who travels around the Empire in legends, the kind of super master who is very strong and looking for breakthrough bottlenecks. Loken said excitedly. Looking for a breakthrough bottleneck? Jason was startled for a moment, then nodded and said with a smile, "That's right, but I'm not a super expert." Ah! Loken exclaimed excitedly. Although he rarely leaves Rainbow City, as a member of a big family, his knowledge is not low. He likes to listen to the stories told by some adults, and what he likes to hear most is that some super powerful people travel around the Empire to punish evil and promote good. Every time I hear the exciting story, I wish I could transform into that super master and defeat all the bad guys. Now that he met Jason, who was not much older than himself, Loka suddenly seemed to have found the feeling of an idol. The strong sense of belonging made him so excited that he couldn't help himself. Luokusi said excitedly, "Brother Jess, I heard Uncle Lai say that there were traces of the battle between the Imperial Spirit Masters where you were unconscious. Were you injured because of fighting with them? Then Brother Jess, aren't you a 7th-level Imperial Spiritual Master?" Oh my God, Locus couldn't help but open his mouth in surprise. Throughout Hong City today, his father, the patriarch of the Mori family, and Dax, the patriarch of the Loki family, were considered the strongest, but they are only 6th-level Intermediate Spiritual Masters and 7th-level Imperial Spiritual Masters. The entire Chi'er province does not exceed 5 fingers. Jason was stunned. Did any Imperial Spirit Master fight in the place where I was unconscious? Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but be shocked. Could it be that Yen Lai saw the destructive power of the attack he released and regarded it as the traces left after the battle between the 2 Emperor Spiritual Masters? Thinking of this, Jason couldn't laugh or cry and said, "Emperor Spirit Master, I'm still far behind, but I believe I can definitely achieve it." Kuan nodded heavily. "Brother Jason is so powerful now, I believe Brother Jace can do it too." At this moment, Luo Kuan sighed in his heart, "It would be great if I could become a strong man like Brother Jace in this life." Soon, Yen Lai and others, who had cleaned up the mess, set off again. All more than 30 members of the Loki family were imprisoned in 2 trucks that were originally loaded with food, grass, and sundries. Now that they were going to Tianhong City, the horses' food and grass were no longer needed. They waited until departure. After that, Yen Lai came to express his gratitude to Jason. His expression was full of respect and awe, and there was no longer the indifference he had before. As for the other guards who had occasionally joked with Jason a few days ago, they didn't even dare to say hello to Jason. They just nodded from a distance with a reserved expression, saying goodbye to Khan, the guard who had yelled at Jason before. They were even more frightened when they saw Jason, and their calves were shaking. This made Jason feel a little helpless, but Jason, who was used to all this, didn't say much. In this world where strength is respected, it is difficult for the strong and the weak to fully integrate into each other. Although Locus was full of excitement and admiration for Jason, he was always just excited and admired. It was a kind of admiration like a big brother among his peers, without much fear. When he saw Jason, he was still full of excitement and admiration. Brother Jace shouted, which made Jason dissatisfied and disdainful of Loken's innocence. The truck was rolling, and after being attacked by the Loki family, the speed of the motorcade suddenly accelerated a bit under the roar of Yenlai. As the guards shouted in surprise, Jason, who was sitting cross-legged in the carriage with his eyes closed and concentrating, opened the curtain. Not far away, a majestic city with a height of more than 10 feet stands there. Rainbow City has arrived. As a medium-sized city in the Chi'er province of the Salem Empire, the size of Rainbow City is not comparable to some of the provincial cities in the Kingdom of Orlando. The city wall is about 30 meters high, and the end is almost endless at a glance. The city gate of Tianhong City is nearly 10 meters wide and 20 meters high. A group of tough city guards wearing silver-white armor are collecting the entry fee at the city gate. Hurry up and pay the money. Give way. Why are you squeezing? Are you looking for death? This group of tough city guards were holding broadswords or waving giant swords, sometimes shouting and sometimes shouting. Jason has long been used to the strength of these city guards. As one of the 4 major empires in mainland China, even the city guards in Tianhong City are basically second-level senior spiritual warriors. Many of them are third-level spiritual masters. Lord Yenlai is back. This is the team of the Mori family. Give way, let Lord Yenlai enter the city. Those tough city guards were so enthusiastic that they sent them there without paying any city fees. Yenlai's team was let in, but Yenlai still smiled and threw out a bag of spirit coins. Let the brothers drink. The leader of the team accepted it skillfully and updated it with more enthusiasm. After the convoy entered the city gate, Loken said enthusiastically, "Brother Jess, I have grown up in Tianhong City since I was a child. I am very familiar with Tianhong City. I will take Brother Jess for a walk around the city later. Although Tianhong City is big, there is really no place that I don't know about." "Yes, Master Jace." Yenlai next to him was also smiling. A group of guards behind him looked at Jason expectantly but did not dare to say a word. Can defeat Elder Cockburn with one move. What kind of character is he? Looking at Rainbow City, there are only a few people who can defeat Cockburn, but when it comes to defeating him with one move, it is basically difficult to find, not to mention that Master Jace is still so young. Looking at his demeanor, he definitely has a profound background. Characters. Now the family is in a big crisis. If Master Jace is willing to help, it will definitely make the family feel better. Even if he is unwilling to help, it is not a bad thing for the family to make friends with such a promising and strong man. Jason hesitated slightly, a hint of worry suddenly appeared on Yenlai's face, and Locus clenched his hands nervously. But I heard Jason laugh and say, "Then I will be disrespectful and bother you all." In fact, after learning the news about the Blood Abyss spiritual pool from Luo Kuan, Jason just wanted to get the quota to enter the secret realm of the spiritual pool. After thinking for a long time, Jason decided to start from Tianhong City. Of course, as long as the Morali family is willing, Jason, who is unwilling to take advantage of it, will also use enough things that the Morali family is interested in. Exchange. Hud Luoquan exhaled a long and undisguised breath, with an excited smile on his face, and said excitedly, "Brother Jess, come, I will help you settle in my house first. I will take you to have a good time in this Rainbow City." He doesn't care what Yenlai's purpose is for inviting Jason, but in Luo Kuan's heart, he just wants his idol to live in his home. Just thinking about it can make him extremely excited. The scale of Rainbow City is not small, and coupled with the proper planning, the entire city gives people a majestic feeling. The spacious streets are filled with people, which reveals the huge popularity of the city. The Murray family is located in the south of Tianhong City, and opposite to it is the Loki family, who occupies the north. These two families are like the two masters of the city. Both sides divide the city into two distinct halves. Of course, there are still some other forces in this city, but compared to the Murray family and the Loki family, they can only live in the gap between the two major families, looking up at these two big families. Jason's carriage circled Tianhong City for about half an hour, and finally stopped in front of an extremely vast mansion. "The young master is back, the young master is back." As a guard shouted, bursts of noise suddenly sounded in the mansion. Immediately, many people walked out of the mansion and began to lead the carriage through the side door. Entering the mansion, some people greeted the team at the same time. "Brother Jace, this is my family's mansion. How about it? It's not bad." Locus stepped out of the carriage and said proudly to Jason. Looking at Locus, who was offering treasures, Jason couldn't help but feel a little funny. At this moment, Locus was like a child who wanted to win the favor of his elder brother, showing all his things to the other party so that he could be seen. The other party also looked at him with admiration. "Master Luokusi, Yen Lai, the clan leader, has heard about your return. Please go to the inner courtyard now." At this moment, an old man came out of the mansion and said, "No, you have to let me arrange Brother Jace first." Loken shouted immediately. The old man couldn't help but frown and looked at Jason in the crowd. In the old man's perception, he had never seen Jason next to Loken before. On the surface, he seemed ordinary. But for some reason, Jason just stood there quietly, giving him a feeling of saying no. Qing's inexplicable magnanimity. "Steward Ho." Yen Lai hurriedly stepped forward and said respectfully, "This is Master Jace. On the way back, he saved the young master's life and ours." Karth and other guards were waiting on the side. They were all standing upright, not far away, looking at Jason with respect. The old man couldn't help being surprised. As the chief steward of the Mori family, Hanos was not a mediocre person. He was an Emoli. His high status in the Li family is not only because he has worked diligently for the Mori family throughout his life, but also because his strength has reached the 6th level of a low-level spiritual master. If Loken was the only one who had a good attitude towards Jason, then Hanos could still think of it as Loken's childish nature. However, the attitudes of Yen Lai and the other guards made Hanos know that Jason in front of him was definitely it's not simple. Although the thought of saving lives is important, it is not enough to make everyone in the entire team look like this. The young man next to this young master either has something extraordinary or is a member of a big family that is more powerful than the family. Thinking of this, the old man immediately smiled and said, "In that case, please ask Mr. Jess to move to the living room first. I think the patriarch will be extremely grateful when he learns that you have saved the young master." Mori family mansion in a deep courtyard. The expression on the face of a man wearing a luxurious red robe and fiery red hair froze instantly. He listened in shock to the description of his son Luoquan and Yen Lai in front of him. "It's very powerful, father. You haven't seen the Black Blind Man and the Kwangmon brothers are very powerful." Uncle Lai could only resist them at first, but after the terrifying spiritual pressure came down, Uncle Lai killed them one by one with one sword. The 3 Black Blind Men and the Madman brothers were all hacked to death, and Cockburn was even more powerful. Uncle Lai was injured in one move by his hand, but in the hands of Brother Jace, I didn't have time to react. Then Cockburn is lying on the ground unable to move. Loken's face flushed with excitement, and he danced as he told the story, as if he was the one who defeated Cockburn. Yes, what the young master said is true. After the fearful spiritual pressure came down, I only felt that all the spiritual elements around me disappeared. I couldn't sense anything at all. And I was killing the Black Blind Man and the Madman. When they were brothers, the Black Blind Man and the Madman brother seemed to be in some kind of illusion, without any resistance at all. And when Lord Jace faced the Colbert, the moment Lord Jace drew his sword, he had released it before. The spiritual power fluctuations on the body of Cobbs, who had exerted powerful spiritual power, disappeared in an instant. He was simply allowed to be struck by Master Jace with his sword. How is it possible? The spiritual pressure of all power elements disappearing should be the effect of the elemental barrier of the 8th level Emperor spiritual master. There is also the attack that makes Cockburn, a 6th level low-level spiritual master, unresponsive. This Keith, the patriarch of the Mori family, had an unbelievable shock on his face. What? Father, you mean that Brother Jace is an 8th level imperial spiritual master, my god? Loken exclaimed, in our Chier province, only Lord Aludiba, the tyrant emperor, is an 8th level emperor. A low-level emperor, spiritual master. Yen Lai on the side was even more shocked and speechless. An 8th level emperor spirit master, let alone one in the Chier province, was considered to be one of the highest in the entire Salem Empire. A top player. No, that's not right. Keshi, who had long fiery red hair, frowned and then calmed down completely after a moment. Words provided by Dawn Update Team. As the patriarch of a large family like the Mori family, Kester is also a thoughtful person, and as a 6th level intermediate spiritual master, Kester has more knowledge than Luo Kuan and Yen Lai. Many. This is a master and super master, but I estimate that the Emperor spiritual master who has not yet advanced to the 7th level, his real strength should be around the 6th level senior spiritual master. Keshi said with a frown. Father, you said one moment that Brother Jace released an elemental barrier that can only be released by an 8th level imperial spiritual master, and then you said that Brother Jace is only a 6th level senior spiritual master. What's going on? Luo Kuan? I don't understand it at all. From what you said, Jace is only around 20 years old. I have never heard of this name before, and even the top master of the younger generation in our Salem Empire has not advanced to the 8th level of Emperor Spiritual Master before the age of 20. The spiritual pressure and the ability to make people lose consciousness should be some kind of special spiritual skill or secret method. More importantly, according to what you said, when the boy defeated Coppers, he also had to release the spirit that made people lose consciousness. By using the secret method of losing consciousness, we can know that the young man is not a 7th level imperial spiritual master. Kaishji analyzed it one by one. If the young man is really a 7th level imperial spiritual master, there is no need to use the secret method at all. You don't even need to use weapons. The 7th level imperial spiritual master just waved the new room, and the spiritual power it brought was able to defeat Cockburn. Luo Kun and Yen Lai both nodded. This is just my speculation, but according to your description, it is very likely that the person's true strength should be a 6th level senior spiritual master. But even so, with this level of strength, no one in our Tianhong city can stop him. Now. Kester looked at Lokun solemnly. Where are the others? Brother Jace was arranged by Butler Ho in the living room. Father, let's go find him now. Lokun said excitedly. There's no rush. Kester frowned and said, a few days ago, you first told me in detail how you met Jace, your experiences along the way, and your final retention. Kun immediately began to describe it. The more he listened, the more relaxed Kester's face became, and finally he smiled. Father? Locus looked at his father. Son. There was a smile on Kesti's face. You have always been kind at heart, but I never said anything to you because you are in poor health. In fact, in a big family like ours, the kinder your heart is, the more kind you are. The easier it is to suffer losses, but this time, you are really lucky. This Jace should be a genius who has come out of a big force. Although there are ordinary people who are geniuses, those who possess the two special secret techniques, definitely not something that ordinary forces can cultivate. Okay, let's go see that wonderful master right away. Don't let him wait in the living room for a long time. I want to thank him for his kindness to us, Mori. The family's life-saving thoughts. When Kester, Locus and others walked into the family living room, they saw a man wearing a spiritual master's robe standing there looking at the murals on the wall. At first glance, this silhouette as quiet as a mountain gave Kester an inexplicable feeling of looking up at a mountain. "Brother Jace," Loken shouted. Kester pays homage to Lord Jace. "Thank you Lord Jace for saving my son's life." Kester, who had red hair, saluted respectfully. "Clan Chief Kashi, you're welcome." Jason smiled and said, but he knew that the patriarch of the Mori family was Kashi. No, it should be. "Master Jace, if it weren't for you these days, my son would probably have lost his life." Keshi said with emotion, "This Loki family is really outrageous. They would do this just for this. A quota in the secret realm of Ling Chi, and the thieves who colluded with Luoyan Valley even intercepted my son's convoy halfway. If it weren't for Master Jace, well, thinking about it now, I feel scared." Jason smiled and said nothing. "I wonder if Mr. Jace has any need to come to Rainbow City? If you need anything, just ask. As long as our Mori family can do it, I, Kes, will never frown or push anything." Sichi spoke boldly. Jason's heart was moved and he was about to speak when he saw a servant suddenly barging in from outside the hall. When he saw Kesti, he knelt down and said anxiously, "Master Patriarch, something serious has happened." Kesti frowned. Wrinkled, he yelled angrily, "You bastard, what's going on? How can you act in such a hurry?" "Master Patriarch, Patriarch Burkby of the Loki family rushed into the mansion with his people and said he wanted to find you, Patriarch. We need someone." The servant said hurriedly. "Burkby." Case was so angry that his eyes were red and his eyes were about to burst. He gritted his teeth and said, I haven't settled the score with him yet, but I dare to come to him myself. I'm just looking forward then." Case, with a face full of embarrassment, Jason apologized to Jason on the side, "Lord Jace, it doesn't matter." Jason smiled faintly, "How about I accompany you? This blood abyss spirit, Jason, it is inevitable to win, and there is no room for loss." The atmosphere in the Mori family meeting hall was quite tense. Many strong men from the Loki family stood around the entrance of the hall, looking at the Mori family members coldly. At the head of them was a man wearing khaki clothes. The middle-aged man looked at Hanos and other elders from the Mori family with great arrogance. "Where's that old guy Kester? Why haven't he been seen yet? Is this old guy scared?" The middle-aged man sneered. At this moment, the three of them were slowly walking in from the side door of the conference hall. The Patriarch. The Patriarch. The people in the Mori family suddenly seemed to have found a backbone and spoke out one after another. "Burkby, you brought someone to break into my Mori's house today. Isn't it too much? Humph, your Loki family is a big family in Tianhong City, and my Mori family is not a vegetarian. How can you be in this Tianhong City? The city has stood for so many years, and it was not trampled out by others. If there is a fight, your Loki family can come over, but I, Kester, will not be afraid of you at all." As soon as Kester entered the meeting hall, he slowly authentic, the voice was not loud, but it was full of a sense of calmness and self-power. Such words also gave everyone in the hall a lot of confidence. "Kest, you old guy is still so hot-tempered." Burkby smiled nonchalantly, and then snorted coldly, "I didn't come here to cause trouble for your Mori family, but I heard that your Mori family arrested Elder Cockburn of my Loki family. I want to know if this is the case?" Burke's eyes were as cold as a wild fox's. Keith and the other three swam back and forth, especially when looking at Jason. They stared at him carefully for a long time. "Burkby, you guys have the nerve to say this." Kester sneered continuously, "Your Loki family actually colluded with the Black Blind Thieves Group and the Madman Thieves Group in Luoyan Valley to intercept me, the convoy of the Loki family, and Coburn even wanted to rob the goods of my Morley family outside the city. It was simply out of order. I didn't clean up the Loki family for you. So Coburn has already given it to you. Save face." Okay, in that case, don't blame my Loki family for being unkind. Hearing this, Birkby's face suddenly darkened, and he sneered, if you don't put me under house arrest today, if Elder Cockburn and many other members of the Loki family return them, don't blame me for being rude today. Humph, I, Kester, am not as lawless as you Birkby, so Cockburn and others, I sent someone to the city lord's mansion to wait for the Lord of Odor to deal with it. As for you, Birkby, if you are going to run wild in my Moroccan family today, Kester stared at Birkby with cold eyes. He said slowly, I, Kester, can guarantee that not a single member of your Loki family will leave my Morley family today. Okay, very good. Birkby's eyes were like cold poisonous snakes. Kester, since you are so stubborn, in 3 days' time, I will let you know who is the real first family in Hongqing today during the family competition of the past 10 years in the city lord's mansion. Let's go. After saying this, Birkby waved his hand and led a large group of people out of the meeting hall of the Murray family. Clan leader, did you just let them leave like this? An elder in the crowd gritted his teeth. Let them go. Kesty said coldly. Over the years, the Murray family has spent almost all their wealth in order to treat Loken's disease. In terms of family power, over the years, the Murray family has been somewhat weaker than the Loki family. Looking at the disappearing figures of Birkby and others, everyone knew it well and couldn't help but sigh secretly, and the atmosphere couldn't help but be extremely silent. After a while, Keshi sighed softly and said to an old man on the side, Master Locke, the materials have arrived. The Tianhong City Family Competition will be held in 3 days. Are you sure you can advance before then? A 5th-level senior elixir master? In an instant, everyone's eyes were fixed on this old man. This man was none other than the elder Kaching of the Amochili family and Master Locke, a 5th-level intermediate elixir master. This time Yan Lai and others spent almost all the family's property in order to advance Master Locke to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master. In terms of force, the strongest members of the Loki family and the Amochili family are both there as a 6th level Intermediate Spiritual Master, and as for the Spiritual Medicine Master, there is also a 5th level Intermediate Spiritual Medicine Master. In the continent of Steph, where the strong are respected, the competition between families is usually to compare the strongest strength. As for the family's financial resources, it is secondary. As long as Master Locke can successfully advance a 5th level senior elixir master, so in this family competition, the Mori family has some hope. Feeling the expectant gazes of everyone in the hall, Locke's old face couldn't help but blush. And then he smiled bitterly and said, Chief Kaishji, it's not me, Locke, who shied away. I mastered 3 5th-level high-grade spiritual potions in 3 days. From then on, the 5th-level intermediate elixir master has been promoted to the senior elixir master. This is really everyone in the hall was silent. Although everyone is not an elixir master, they also know how difficult it is. Master Locke has been promoted to the 5th-level elixir master. It has been quite a long time, but it has been lingering in the realm of the 5th-level intermediate elixir master. It is difficult to advance, which shows how difficult it is. If you can easily advance to the level, wouldn't it be possible to see powerful elixir masters everywhere? But the current situation of the family, everyone can't help but worry. For example, it's not that the Murray family had to wait until before the family competition to gather this material. It's actually that the family spent too much money to treat Loken's disease, and the materials for the 5th-level high-grade spiritual potion are not commercially available. Colors can be received at will, but you need to book in advance, which is why it has only arrived now. Seeing everyone's dejected expressions, Locke gritted his teeth and said, But please rest assured, even if I, Locke, don't sleep these 3 days, I will try my best to break through to the 5th-level advanced elixir Zongjing realm. Hearing Locke's words in response, everyone nodded, and now, that's all. Is it difficult to advance to a senior elixir master? If I heard correctly, this old gentleman should be a 5th-level intermediate elixir master, right? And in terms of spiritual master level, It seems that he has also been promoted to a 5th level senior elixir master. At this level, it should be very easy to advance to the senior elixir master. At this moment, a clear voice suddenly sounded in the somewhat dull hall. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and then after hearing the content of the words, their faces were filled with tears, showing an angry expression. Which kid is ignorant and talks nonsense? Someone in the crowd suddenly shouted angrily. Everyone's eyes were looking towards the place where the voice came from, and Master Locke's expression was extremely angry. The other party's previous words were simply insulting to him, a 5th level intermediate elixir master. However, when they landed on the man, they were stunned. Why haven't we seen this young man before? It seems that he came in with the patriarch before, right? Is he a child of any family in the empire? Kester was even more dumbfounded and said in amazement, Master Jace, you among all the people present, only Locus, who had been standing next to Jason, was excited when he heard Jason's words. He suddenly jumped up and said, Brother Jess, can you make Master Locke advance to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master in 3 days? In Locken's heart, Jason is definitely worthy of trust. Let him be promoted to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master? It couldn't be easier. Jason seemed to be unable to feel the eyes of the people around him, and said disdainfully. This kid is so uneducated. Really, really young and frivolous, young and frivolous. As soon as Jason said this, because Jason was brought in by Keith, he was more or less everyone gave him a little face, but at this time, he couldn't bear it anymore and exploded. Especially at this time of family crisis, these words made them even more angry. Master Locke was already red with anger and speechless. Lord Jace, this ahem, Kester said with a blushing face, maybe the masters you met before were very easy to advance, but not everyone is like this. Among these people, that is to say, Kester knew something about Jason, and knowing Jason's strength, he thought that Jason had seen a certain elixir master advance before, but who was Jason? Can a boy who is so powerful at such a young age be in a position of power that his family in Hongqing today can compare to? Jason shook his head repeatedly. It's not that some people are alone, it's just that it's very simple. If you don't believe it, just ask Master Locke to listen to me, and I guarantee that he will be promoted to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master within 3 days. Everyone present was furious. Could this kid be a lunatic? He can also say such things. Not to mention anything else, even if this kid is really very accomplished in elixir science, letting others advance and promoting himself are 2 completely different concepts. Even a 7th level elixir master will be even more powerful at most. Instructing others in detail, but not daring to say the truth that can guarantee others to advance, this kid, what a shame. At this time, Master Locke couldn't bear it anymore, and roared, and others heard Jason's words. The words he spat may have been spit, but if he spat, it would be blood. What a shameless statement. Jason said disdainfully, I have seen all the elixir materials purchased by your Mori family on the road. They are nothing more than cerulean seed, sun fruit, dream grass, sacred stone, Yunlan jade. There are dozens of materials such as yihuxing and sweet molly leaves, but I don't understand why you have to prepare holy light potions, body spirit potions, and other ingredients that use these materials if you want to advance to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master. Where are the mist potions? Jason shook his head and continued, although these 3 spiritual potions are also 5th level high-grade spiritual potions, among the 5th level high-grade spiritual potions, the difficulty is not low, and they are not used to advance to the 5th level at all. The first choice of the senior elixir master. Silence, deathly silence. Everyone present looked at Jason blankly, with disbelief in their eyes. The dozens of materials that Jason had previously reported were exactly what the Murray family purchased this time, and the 3 elixirs he mentioned were just when Locke was preparing to advance to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master. I want to prepare 3 5th level high-quality elixirs. A thought came to everyone's mind. Someone must have told this kid this news. Otherwise, how could this kid know? But everyone looked left and right, and even fixed their eyes on the face of the Kaistri patriarch. However, the result was that they were disappointed. Everyone's faces were filled with surprise and astonishment, and they had no idea at all. Looking at the expressive faces of everyone in the hall, Luo Kuan's face was filled with excitement. His eyes were shining, his mouth was wide open, and he shouted in his heart, "Awesome, so awesome, this is me, Luo Kuan. Kuan's eldest brother, my idol of Locus, he's awesome." Lord Jess, are you also a master of elixirs? Kester said tremblingly, looking at Jason expectantly. Master of elixirs? Jason shook his head. I'm not. Although I am a master of elixirs, my elixir master level is much lower than that of Master Locke. However, my master is a veritable master of elixirs. But these materials and elixirs, Kester said anxiously. These are all I jotted down at random. Jason said calmly, What is this situation? Everyone present was stunned. My teacher has prepared these elixirs before, and when my teacher was preparing them, I also wrote down the formulas of these elixirs. Now that I saw these materials of yours, I naturally thought of them. Jason looked at everyone present as if he were an idiot. Speechless, this time everyone present was completely speechless. At first, when Jason was able to skillfully name the names of these materials and the 3 5th-level high-grade spiritual potions, the members of the Mori family present were really surprised by Jason. When they thought about it, since Jason had such a strong voice, he should indeed have some real talents. If their family really climbed up to such a master with such a high attainment in elixir science, this family competition would be a big success. There is hope. Unexpectedly, the reason why he remembered these recipes so clearly was because he had seen them when his teacher was preparing them. This made everyone completely speechless. Chief Kester, what is the origin of this young man you brought? He insulted me so much today. I hope you can give me an explanation. Master Locke couldn't bear it anymore and shouted angrily, Although Locke is not a member of the Mori family, 20 years have passed since he joined the Mori family at the age of 37. I have also been promoted from a 4th-level low-level elixir master to a 5th-level intermediate person today. Master of elixir, the Mori family has been very good to me over the years, and I have never thought of leaving the Mori family, but today, this young man's words are really, Chief Kester, other than me, I don't want to say more, I hope you can give me an explanation for today's matter. Listening to Locke's words, everyone present fell silent. Locke has been in the Mori family for so many years, and his friendship with them is certainly not good. Qian, and the words Jason said before were indeed too hurtful for a spiritual medicine master. Chief Kester, who is this young man? Among the crowd, an old man with a gray beard stood out. He was an elder of the Mori family. Although the elder was very angry about what Jason said before, Kester's attitude towards Jason has been under his observation, so he did not directly angrily yell at Jason. Ahem, everyone, this is Lord Jace, who once rescued Loken and his family's convoy on the way here, and Cockburn was captured by this Lord Jace. Kester cleared his throat. He knew that he had no choice but to speak at this time. Wow. After hearing Kester's words, there was a burst of noise below. Colbert of the Loki family wanted to attack Yen Lai's convoy, and they all knew about being captured. Loki had previously, the patriarch of the family, Birkby, came specifically for this matter, but no one knew who captured Cockburn, and there was absolutely no one in the family's own team who could defeat Cockburn. Now Kester's words were like dropping a depth bomb in the entire hall. No wonder the Kester clan leader was so respectful to this young man, not to mention that this young man at such an age could kill a 6th-level low-level person like Cockburn. The defeat of the spiritual master is definitely a genius. Just the life-saving grace of the family team was enough to make all the members of the Mo Yao family present feel extremely grateful. Master Locke's face froze. The convoy this time was purchased by the Mori family for him to use a large amount of expensive materials to advance to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master. If you really think about it, Jason is still kind to him, but previously Jason's words, it turns out that you saved our Mori family's convoy. On behalf of my nephew Loken and everyone in the family, I would like to thank you, Your Excellency, for saving our Mori family's motorcade. Otherwise, the consequences would be disastrous. For a moment, all the old men in the hall thanked Jason one after another. No matter how angry and unconvinced they were at Jason's previous words, Jason is the savior of their Mori family after all. These old guys were not unreasonable. Chief Kester, everyone, Jason returned the gifts one by one, and then said calmly, "Today, let alone the life-saving grace, I will only say that being promoted from the 5th level intermediate elixir master to the 5th level senior elixir master, really, it's a very simple thing, Master Jace." This Kester on the side almost cried. He finally calmed down everyone's emotions, but Master Jace said this again, not to be so playful. There were bursts of whispers from underneath. Almost everyone present was dissatisfied with Jason, but it was just because of Jason's life-saving grace to the Mori family that it was difficult to get angry. Good. At this moment, Locke stood up with an angry face, his expression was excited, and his eyes were slightly red. "Since Your Excellency is kind to our Mori family, I can't say anything to you, but since Your Excellency said that as long as if I listen to you, I can advance to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master in 3 days, then Locke's eyes turned red instantly, and he gasped through his nose, "I, Locke, bet all my dignity and dignity as an Elixir Master. Honor, as long as you can really advance to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master in the next 3 days, I, Locke, will listen to you from now on." "But what if you don't have kidneys?" Locke's words immediately changed the expressions of everyone present. "Master Locke, why are you doing this? Yes, I am just a teenager, is it normal to be young and frivolous?" Someone in the crowd suddenly tried to persuade them. Whether it was Locke or Jason, one was almost a member of the Mori family. The other was the benefactor of the family. If the two fought, it would not be of any benefit to the family. Jason's eyes lit up slightly, he took a step forward and shouted loudly, "Okay, Master Locke is really happy. Since the Master has staked the dignity and reputation of the Elixir Master, I, Jace, will take it today. If I can't let him, if Master Locke is promoted, it will be at your disposal, Master. However, what I said before was that Master Locke be promoted to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master within 3 days. Now, I decided to change it, Master Jace, what do you mean?" Hearing Jason say that he wanted to change the content, Locke naturally thought that Jason was afraid. And everyone below also felt a little disdain for Jason's backbiting. "Sure enough, you are young and frivolous. You speak without thinking. Now people are betting on you. You are afraid again and want to change. Wouldn't it be good for young people to be low-key?" Everyone couldn't help but murmur in their hearts. A faint smile appeared on the corner of Jason's mouth. "Everyone, listen up. What I changed is that I originally said 3 days. Now, I only need 1 day to make Master Locke prepare 3 kinds of 5-in-1 ingredients. High-grade elixir became a 5th level advanced elixir master. Master Locke, if you really dare to take it, you can go to the laboratory with me now. Do you dare?" As soon as these words were spoken, the hall was in an uproar. Okay, Locke was so excited by Jason's arrogance that he was almost speechless. "In that case, I will accompany you for a while." After saying that, Locke walked directly towards his private laboratory in the Mori family mansion. "Let's go." Without saying a word, Jason followed Locke closely, without hesitation, leaving only the room in the hall. Everyone looked at each other in bewilderment. This Chief Kester no longer knew what he was feeling at this moment, and the brows on his face knitted together. Jason said he could make Locke advance to 5 levels in 1 day. Logically speaking, becoming a senior elixir master should be a good thing, but this, alas. Helpless, Kester had no choice but to stamp his feet heavily, let out a long sigh, and followed quickly. What he was thinking at this moment was, when Jason fails, how can he calm down Master Locke so that he can easily embarrass Jason? But now that Jason has gone so far, it's really difficult to handle. Suddenly, the Mori family, the members and the mansion all saw a spectacular scene. All the prominent figures in the family followed Master Locke and a young man towards the laboratory. Under the leadership of Locke, everyone arrived in front of the laboratory in a short time. Chief Kester, please maintain order. Moreover, the laboratory has too many things to accommodate so many people. Looking at the crowded crowd, Jason turned his head and said, "You too, why is it like this? Why don't we all sit down, drink tea, and have a good talk?" "No need to say more, Patriarch," Jason and Locke said in unison at the same time. Finally, under Kester's arrangement, nearly 10 old men and Kester himself followed Jason and Locke into the laboratory, and Locke naturally followed. The rest of the people were waiting outside the laboratory. Most of these nearly 10 old men are elders of the Mori family, as well as several core members with extremely high status. After entering the laboratory, Jason picked up a piece of paper and a pen, then scribbled some information on it, and then handed it to Kester. "Chief Kester, please send someone to the materials on the paper were immediately collected and needed for preparation. This is?" Kester closed the paper in confusion, and several old men around him also gathered around. When they saw it, they were dumbfounded. I saw that it was densely filled with materials, 5 levels each of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth spiritual cores, 5 interpretation stones, 1st level, 2nd level, 3rd level, 4th level, 5th level. 1 fire spirit core each, an alchemy magnifying glass, an alchemy color comparison table, an array master array pen, etc. Some elixir materials like Kester are easy to understand, but what kind of alchemy magnifying glass, alchemy the color comparison table is all used by some alchemists, and the formation pen of the formation master is only used by the formation master. What does it have to do with the preparation of the spiritual potion? Kester and the others have no idea at all. Enthusiastic celebration of Brother Genius Nian Xiaozhu's fan promotion to the helmsman of this book. Locke. Brother Genius Nian Xiaozhu has been conscientious and diligent since childhood. He has determined to be a hero since he was a child, and now he has finally made some achievements. The position of 4th level Heavenly Spirit Master, warm celebration, remove the flowers to celebrate, hee. Oh, it seems that Master Jace is completely fooling around. Kester couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Before, he still had some hope for Jason, but after seeing these materials, he had completely lost hope in Jason. Locke, who was standing next to Jason, naturally saw the material written by Jason, but he did not speak and just sneered from the side. Fortunately, although the thing Jason wants is rare, it is not difficult to find. Otherwise, everyone would think that Jason was deliberately writing something randomly so that no one could buy it to delay the purchase. In a short time, all these materials were sent to the laboratory, such as magnifying glasses, color comparison tables, formation pens, and other things. Although they are rare, you only need to find an alchemy supplies store and a formation supplies store. Although it can be purchased, it is difficult to find various 5th-level spiritual cores, but with the status of the Mori family in Rainbow City, it will not take much time. All the materials were placed on an empty experimental table in the laboratory. After placing them, everyone present turned their eyes to Jason. Their eyes were like looking at a clown, wanting to see, let's see how he will end up after he made things like this, because of his arrogance. No one believed that Jason really knew how to prepare and could really make Locke advance from a 5th-level intermediate elixir master to a senior elixir master in one day. Except Loken. I don't know why, but Loken has a kind of blind confidence in Jason. Okay. Seeing that all the materials were in place, Jason couldn't help but nodded and said, now that everything is in place, let's start the preparation, but I have a few points to explain in advance. First, Master Locke, from now on, you must obey my command completely. Whatever I ask you to do, you must do it without any objections. Did you hear that? I heard it. Locke nodded, since this kid is really, if you want to keep playing, then you should keep playing with him. Very well, now, Master Locke, Please throw the bottle of Earth Elemental Basic Liquid in front of you to the ground," Jason said with an expressionless indifference on his face. "What?" Locke was stunned for a moment, and he looked at Jason in confusion. "I asked you to throw the bottle of Earth Element Foundation Liquid in front of you to the ground. Didn't you hear it?" Jason's voice couldn't help but rise 2 points higher. But Locke couldn't help but speak. "Nothing but, what did you promise me earlier? Didn't I say that you must obey my orders completely from now on? Is this what you call the dignity and reputation of a panacea doctor?" Jason looked at Locke with extremely calm eyes. Silence, inexplicable silence. At this moment, under Jason's plain words, Locke suddenly felt like he had returned to his boyhood, when he was the first-level low-level elixir. As a disciple, he saw the timidity and trembling of his mentor who was a 5th-level low-level elixir master, and even wanted to fill his soul. But now, he is already a 5th-level intermediate elixir master. But it was the young boy Jason who felt this inexplicable fear. He did not hesitate to pick up the bottle of Earth Element Basic Liquid on the medicine shelf in front of him, and then smashed it heavily on the ground. The potion bottle made of crystal shattered instantly when it hit the hard floor of the laboratory. The splashing Earth Element base fluid continued to evaporate and turned into Earth Element spiritual power, which penetrated into the ground or dissipated in the ground. In the air. "Very good. Whatever I ask you to do from now on, you must do it immediately. Don't hesitate for a moment, do you understand?" "I understand." Locke nodded solemnly this time. Then the second thing, Jason turned his attention to Kester and others aside. "During the preparation process, you can watch and even discuss in a low voice, but if anyone makes a loud noise or walks around at will, if you swing things in the laboratory and disturb the preparation, don't blame me for being rude." "Yes." With the previous example of Locke, Kester and the others responded hurriedly. What Jason said were all basic, and they naturally understood. "Okay, let's start the preparation now." Jason said to Locke, "The first 5th-level high-grade spiritual potion I asked you to prepare is called 5 Elements Potion." 5 Elements Potion? Locke couldn't help but be taken aback, but didn't speak. He was extremely angry by Jason's words in the meeting hall earlier, and wanted to bet with Jason. But for some reason, when he arrived in the laboratory, Locke, who was a 5th-level intermediate elixir master, it felt like Jason had changed in front of him. At this moment, he was no longer just a boy, but seemed to have transformed into a real master of elixirs, teaching him. That kind of compelling momentum made him almost desire to suffocate. However, Kester and the others who were not elixir masters on the side, and since they were not directly facing Jason, felt that it was not so obvious. 5 Elements Potion. This Jace is really an old man who was also an elixir, seemed to have heard about the 5 Elements Potion, and his face suddenly showed a smile like he was watching a show. The 5 Elements Potion is indeed a 5th-level high-grade spiritual potion, but its difficulty is much higher than the Holy Light Potion, Body Spirit Potion, and Mist Potion that Locke originally wanted to prepare. Before Jason's soul traveled, Alexander of the Lingdo Empire went to Wanben Mountain to find Jason in order to get this high-quality 5 Elements Potion. That was a group of 8th-level elixir masters from the Empire. For things that cannot be prepared, it can be said that among the 5th-level high-grade spiritual potions, the difficulty of these 5 Elements Potions is at the top, if not the most difficult. "Very good, Locke. The first thing you have to do is to find 1 5th-level gold spiritual core, wood spiritual core, water spiritual core, fire spiritual core, and earth spiritual core from the materials, and then add those 5 spiritual cores to a unit of spiritual element separation liquid in the order of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water." Following Jason's instructions, Locke quickly added 5 5th-level spiritual cores with different attributes were put into 5 bottles filled with transparent liquid that shone like stars. Chi. After the 5 spiritual cores were put in, those flashing silver lights quickly adhered to the surfaces of the spiritual cores, emitting 5 colors of light. Amidst bursts of chirping sounds, the 5 fifth-level spiritual cores of each system dissolved at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a moment, the 5 spiritual cores of each system disappeared without a trace, leaving a layer of gold, cyan, blue, red, and gray sticky. The thick liquid flows slightly at the bottom of the 5 bottles, reflecting bursts of faint light, and on the upper layer of the thick liquid is a large piece of colorless transparent liquid. The spirit element separation liquid can separate any spirit crystal. It is an auxiliary medicine that spiritual medicine masters must master to separate the spiritual elements in solid objects such as spiritual cores and spiritual ores, and separate the spiritual elements from impurities. The layer of colored viscous liquid is the elemental separation liquid from which the essence of each element separated from the 5 fifth-level spiritual cores of each element. Then, under Jason's instruction, Locke took out 5 soybean-sized moonstones from the shelf next to him, and then quickly put them into the remaining transparent liquid on the top of the 5 preparation bottles. After a violent boiling, there is only a layer of elemental essences of various colors left in the 5 bottles. As a 5th-level intermediate elixir master, Locke's basic skills are quite solid in these simple operations without making any mistakes at all. After doing all this, all the preliminary work is completed. Next, the most important step of the 5 elements potion is to carry out the fusion of the essence of the 5 spiritual elements. Everyone who was watching expressionlessly immediately became energetic, and their eyes looked at Jason for a moment to see what he was doing. How to command, and Locke, who was calm before, was also nervous with beads of sweat oozing out from his forehead. In fact, the process of preparing the 5 elements potion is quite simple. It just extracts the elemental essences from the 5 spiritual cores and then fuses them together. The steps are that simple. And the difficult part is the process of fusion of elemental essences, in which multiple elemental essences are constantly reacting, which requires the powerful spiritual consciousness controllability of the spiritual pharmacist. It can be said that if the spiritual consciousness of a spiritual pharmacist can control the 5 elements potion well, then he can control the spiritual element reactions in the preparation process of all 5th-level high-grade spiritual potions, and even the preparation of some 6th-order low-level spiritual potions may not be impossible to try. With Locke's current 5th-level advanced spiritual consciousness, it is actually impossible to successfully prepare the 5 elements potion. Otherwise, he should have become a 5th-level advanced elixir master. For a time, everyone's heart they all mentioned it, and they all wanted to see what method Jason, who was so arrogant in the hall, could use to make Locke prepare the 5 elements potion. Very good, Locke. Now, please bring over the alchemy color comparison table and prepare a new mixing bottle, Jason said calmly. Gah, what kind of trouble does Jace really want Locke to use, the color comparison table? Is he sure he's right? Everyone was dumbfounded. Some people even retreated far away. During the preparation process of the 5 elements potion, if the chaotic spiritual elements of the various systems collided accidentally, an explosion would occur. Although the power of the explosion could not hurt strong people like them at all, but it's always bad to have messy things splattered on your body. In the laboratory, Jason was minding his own business and said, Locke, first, extract 5 milliliters of wood element essence and put it into the preparation bottle, and then extract 5 milliliters of fire element essence and put it into the preparation bottle, and then use 3rd-level spiritual power to shake the preparation bottle. When the color of the mixture of the 2 solutions reaches color number 3 on the comparison table, quickly put 5 milliliters of earth element essence into the potion bottle. Gah, what kind of preparation is this? After hearing Jason's words, everyone in the laboratory was dumbfounded. What kind of mess is this boy Jesse commanding? How can the preparation of elixirs be like this? Grandmas, it's obviously a nonsense. Don't go into the colors of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. I didn't arrange them according to the colors of the 5 elements. Instead, I arranged them according to gold, wood, cyan, water, blue, fire, red, earth, and gray. Yes. For a moment, there was an atmosphere of anxiety flowing throughout the entire laboratory. Although no one present except Locus believed that Jason could successfully sheath lock at the beginning, when Jason actually revealed the steps, it was still hard for everyone to accept. As the mainstream profession in the Steth continent, elixir masters were among the people present. Not many people are elixir masters, but they also know more or less about the preparation of elixir masters. Everyone knows that when a spiritual medicine master prepares a medicine, he usually uses spiritual consciousness and spiritual power to react, and the difference between a powerful spiritual medicine master and a weak spiritual medicine master is the control of spiritual consciousness and the control of spiritual power. Difference. As a 5th-level senior spiritual master, Locke has already reached the standard in terms of the strength of his spiritual consciousness. The reason why he has been unable to advance to the 5th-level senior elixir master is that he still has flaws in the control of his spiritual consciousness, that is, when the spiritual consciousness participates in the preparation of medicines, the spiritual consciousness is not proficient enough in controllability. The higher the level of preparing spiritual potions, the greater the requirement for spiritual consciousness. If Locke is to successfully prepare the 5 elements potion, Jason must guide or advise Locke in the control of spiritual consciousness. And look at what Jason said before when he was conducting. What is reaching color number 3 on the comparison table? Is there such a method in the preparation of elixir? It's just nonsense and nonsense. If Lord Jace can make this happen today, Locke successfully prepared the 5 elements potion, and the pig, gong, and beast were able to ascend to heaven. The elixir elder of the Mori family whispered to the people beside him with confidence. "Old gentleman, I heard what you said," Jason suddenly said while watching Locke's preparation. The old man's face turned red. No matter what Jason said, he was still a member of the Mori family. Talking about others behind their backs was not very good in the first place, and it was overheard by the person involved. This the old man was ashamed at this moment. "I just want to find a crack in the ground and burrow down." Locke on the side was also completely confused by the method Jason said. As a 5th-level intermediate elixir master, he had not even seen the preparation method Jason mentioned, have never heard of it. But because of the previous incident, Jean de Locke did not dare to hesitate or refute Jason's instructions, and immediately followed Jason's instructions. He first accurately extracted 5 milliliters of wood element essence, and then extracted 5 milliliters of fire element essence. He carefully poured it into the bottle containing the wood element essence. Hi! As the fire element essence was poured in, a subtle explosion sound suddenly came from the preparation bottle. Among the 5 elements, wood creates fire, and the existence of the wood element essence immediately made the fire element essence excited, and the continuous fusion and transformation of the person suddenly emitted a strong elemental fluctuation in the air. At this time, Locke could no longer control so much. He immediately followed Jason's instructions and controlled the strength to shake the preparation bottle, causing the solution is more fully integrated. As the shaking proceeds, the color of the solution gradually changes. "Look, the color is really changing," someone said in surprise. "Tisk, so what if the color changes?" "When preparing the elixir, the color of the solution will change." "What a fuss," said the elixir master. Locke kept comparing the alchemy color comparison table to see whether the color of the solution reached color number 3. After shaking for about 2 minutes, the color of the solution suddenly changed again. Locke's eyes suddenly lit up, and then he extracted the 5 milliliters of Earth's spiritual elements were poured into the preparation bottle. Hi! The spirit element in the preparation bottle, which originally reacted stably, started to riot again. This time, the fluctuation of the spirit element was much more powerful than before. Humph, the more spirit element essence is added, the more spirit element essence is added. The greater the conflict between the elements, I think it won't be long before the mixing bottle in Master Locke's hand will explode. The elder elixir master muttered. Very good, Locke, continue shaking until the color of the solution reaches 5. When choosing the color, pour in 5 milliliters of gold element essence. Locke kept shaking, and finally, when the fluctuations of the spiritual elements eased slightly, the color of the solution reached the color value of number 5 on the comparison table, Locke hurriedly explained, infused with the elemental essence of the metal system. Boom! Powerful spiritual element fluctuations soared into the sky, and a large amount of violent spiritual elements continued to escape from the preparation bottle, filling the entire laboratory and stirring crazily. Locke's hand shook, and he almost lost the preparation bottle. After throwing it away, a lot of sweat quickly broke out on his forehead. The expressions of several elders on the side changed even more, and they hurriedly took a few steps back, and Kester also instantly blocked Locus's face. The entire experiment in the room, only Jason Egu stood in front of the experimental table, his brows not even moving, his expression flat. "We can't prepare any more, it will definitely explode." Someone in the crowd exclaimed. Such a powerful spiritual element fluctuation is worthy of a 5th-level spiritual potion, but it is too dangerous. General 5 elements potions will not produce such a large fluctuation in spiritual power during the preparation process. If this really explodes, it will definitely blow up the entire laboratory. Everyone was talking about the 5 elements with a look of horror on their faces. Even if the preparation of the potion fails, it will not matter if it explodes, because the 5 elements are mutually reinforcing and inhibiting each other, so the fluctuations of the elements will not be too great, and the power of the explosion will be very small. However, Jason taught Locke the preparation process by continuously adding elemental essences in the order of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. The spiritual power fluctuations were continuously improved. By the time the metal elemental essences were added, the elemental fluctuations had already reached an extremely terrifying situation, is even equivalent to the intensity of the spiritual power fluctuation released by a 5th-level sect spiritual master with all his strength. "Locke, why are you still hesitating? Why don't you step up the vibration? Then when the color value is number 7, join in. The final 5 milliliters of water essence." Besides, Jason shouted at Locke. The vibration speed in Locke's hand weakened a lot. There was hesitation on his face and a look of fear in his eyes. With his current 5th-level senior with the strength of the elixir master, if this prepared bottle that has reached the 5th level of spiritual power fluctuation really explodes in his hand, it will definitely hit his best shot and cause serious injuries. Sun sneered, "This is you. What about the dignity and reputation of the so-called elixir? If you're afraid, you can stop the preparation immediately. This bet is over. I will never force you to do anything. However, I just want to tell you that if you don't even dare to face this risk, you don't deserve to be one. A true elixir." Jason's words were like a huge hammer, hitting Locke's heart. Locke's face couldn't help but turn pale, and his body couldn't help but tremble. It is common for elixirs to encounter danger during the process of preparing elixirs. Every year, many elixirs are injured or even die during the preparation. This is an extremely dangerous profession. But real elixir masters will never be intimidated by these dangers. Based on their love for elixir science and preparation, they indulge in it crazily, just to be able to prepare more powerful elixirs and create more radiation. A magical elixir for mankind. This is the real elixir master. In the laboratory, Locke gritted his teeth, a trace of determination showed in his eyes, and then he increased the intensity and vibrated. The spiritual elements in the air suddenly climbed to a higher level of violence. The chaotic spiritual elements are like a powder keg next to a fire. If you are not careful, there is a possibility of exploding at any time. Master Locke, you can't stop. The preparation has been completed, Master Jace, and it cannot be prepared any further. Feeling the increasingly crazy and violent spiritual elements in the air, Kester's expression completely changed, and he immediately shouted out. As the head of the family, he absolutely cannot let Locke, the master of elixirs in the family, at this stage. Anything goes wrong at any time. Otherwise, in the family competition 3 days later, the Mori family will be completely defeated by the Loki family. No, Chief Kester. Locke raised his head suddenly, his eyes sparkling. I want to prepare it. As a real elixir, I want to prepare it. Locke's eyes were as red as crazy, and he said excitedly, from the first day I set foot on the path of a spiritual medicine master, I told myself, I must become a real spiritual medicine master today. I bet the dignity and honor of an elixir is bet with this Jace. Although I do not believe that his method can be successful, I will not stop, because I am a real elixir, and I will never allow it. He insulted me in the hall. Master Locke, with your strength, you are already a real elixir master. Kester persuaded. No, you don't understand. Locke's eyes were filled with divine light, and his tone was extremely pious. A real elixir master will never shrink back at this time. It has nothing to do with the level of elixir master. It's about faith. Chief Kester, please step aside. No matter if something happens to me in the end, don't blame Jace. Locke spoke to Kester, and then he set his sights on Jason. You want me to go from a 5th-level intermediate elixir master to a senior elixir master in one day? Haha, Xiaozi, elixir learning is not as easy as you think. I hope you won't be so arrogant in the future. The preparation is not over yet. Who will win has not yet been decided. Locke, prepare it according to my instructions. Jason's face was expressionless and he spoke indifferently, but in his heart, he had a good impression and appreciation for Locke. Alas! Kester let out a long sigh. Seeing the expressions on Locke and Jason's faces, he knew that he could no longer persuade each other to change their minds. He had to pull Locus and retreat to the door of the laboratory. And the nearly 10 old men all retreated to the door. If something unexpected happens later, take action immediately. Kester ordered away. Everyone turned their attention to Locke. There was an extremely nervous mood floating in the air. At this moment, the solution in the preparation bottle suddenly boiled, and at the same time, the spiritual element in the air burned to the extreme. In an instant, everyone's hearts were in their throats. While the solution in the preparation bottle was boiling, its color also began to change. Locke's eyes were fixed on the solution and the color comparison table on the side. His forehead was covered with large beads of sweat, and his body was shaking slightly. One hand shook the preparation bottle, and the other hand was ready at any time. Pour in 5 milliliters of extracted water element essence. He wanted to strictly follow Jason's requirements, and he wanted Jason to know that this method that he didn't know was impossible to succeed at all. Suddenly, after the color in the solution became a little brighter, Locke's eyes suddenly burst into a dazzling light. His left hand shook violently, and 5 milliliters of water element essence was instantly injected into the violent preparation bottle. Everyone, be careful and pay attention. Kester shouted loudly, and a layer of spiritual protective shield instantly appeared on everyone's body, preparing to meet the sudden explosion. Boom! A huge banging sound suddenly came from the preparation bottle in Locke's hand. Kester and others at the entrance of the laboratory, all the strength of the 6th-level spiritual masters were released, and nearly 10 powerful spiritual power fluctuations rose up in the laboratory, and even spread far away from the laboratory. What are the Kester patriarchs doing? How did they release such powerful spiritual power fluctuations? Outside the laboratory, knowing the whole story, many members of the Mori family who were waiting for the result of Locke and Jason's bet looked curiously at the laboratory not far away, but they were filled with doubts in their hearts. At this moment, as a huge explosion sound came from Locke's hand in the laboratory, the violent spirit element that had climbed to the extreme and filled the entire laboratory disappeared in front of everyone in an instant as if it had never appeared before. A bottle of solution filled with 5 colors of gold, cyan, blue, fire, and gray was quietly held in Locke's hand, exuding an aura of spiritual power that made people feel extremely comfortable. It was the 5 elements potion that was successfully prepared. Silence, deathly silence. Kester and the others were all glowing with various spiritual powers, but they were all like puppets, looking stupidly at the mixing bottle in Locke's hand. Is this the 5 elements potion? Master Locke has successfully prepared it. How is that possible? Coincidence must be a coincidence. Everyone was shocked. Their eyes showed extremely shocked expressions, and their mouths were wide open in disbelief. Master Locke was completely stunned in front of the experimental table. He was already prepared to be injured in the explosion, but everything that happened now, it completely subverted his cognition. Why? Why? He muttered to himself, his eyes were dull. With his strength as a 5th-level intermediate elixir master, he could naturally feel that his preparation was successful this time. What he had in his hands was the vast majority of 5th-level elixir masters. Even a senior elixir master cannot prepare the 5 elements potion, but he kept reviewing the entire preparation process in his mind, detail by detail. As a first-hand operator, he remembered every step clearly. However, no matter how he analyzed it, he could never figure out what he was doing. How on earth was the 5 elements potion successfully prepared? Impossible. He stood there blankly. This is impossible. Successful, haha. Master Locke prepared it successfully. Brother Jess, you are really awesome. Master Locke successfully prepared a bottle so quickly. A 5th-level high-quality elixir. Behind Kester, Loken spoke excitedly, looking at Jason with eyes shining with incomparable admiration. Chief Kester, what are you doing there? Jason, who had always stood in front of the experimental table and never moved at all, looked at the door with confusion. He was surging with spiritual power, and each of them felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. Kester and others are ready to take action. Compared with Jason, who stood there calmly and never moved. Looking back on Kester's previous actions, Kester and the others looked like fools. Ahem. Kester and the others have all recovered from the shock at this moment. They restrained their spiritual power and looked at Jason's eyes. This moment has become completely different. Master Jace, no Master Jace, how on earth did you do this? Locke suddenly came back to his senses and rushed towards Jason like crazy. In front of him, his face was filled with incomparable shock and desire. Locke has been in contact with elixir science for nearly 50 years. Along the way, he has encountered countless problems and puzzles, but never has he been so shocked and filled with deep frustration as this moment. Feel. Although many elixir masters have seen the preparation of Jason's technique in the past, those elixir masters only saw it and observed it as bystanders. Therefore, although they were shocked, it could not make them crazy. However, Locke prepared the entire elixir under the guidance of Jason, but he prepared an elixir that was impossible to succeed with his current strength. This shock made Locke almost go crazy. I don't know about this, but Jason waved his hand helplessly to Locke. But you just, Locke said anxiously. This is when I observed the teacher preparing the 5 elements potion, and I accidentally saw the elemental essence added. The time was exactly the same every time, so I took note of it. In fact, I don't know what happened. Before the trip, Renault reminded Jason not to put his car down easily. The strength of the elixir master was revealed. Jason also understood this truth. He had already shown amazing strength in front of Yen Lai and others of the Mori family. If he showed his amazing talent as an elixir master again, even though Mori the family may not be unfaithful to him, but if word spreads, it will inevitably have a bad impact. Therefore, Jason planned to use a method that could not only show his strength, but also help the Mori family improve their strength to win the spot in the secret realm of the spirit pool. It is obviously an excellent way for Locke to successfully advance to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master. It is difficult for others to advance a 5th level Intermediate Elixir Master, but for technology flow pioneers it was extremely easy for Jason. It's just that Jason can't just tell people, "You will listen to me for the next 3 days. I can help you advance from the 5th level Intermediate Elixir Master to the 5th level Senior Elixir Master." Don't say that Locke won't pay attention to him at all. Others would even regard Jason as an idiot, so Jason could only use this method of provoking a bet. However, regarding the reason for the technical flow, Jason did not want to tell Locke that this was not because he was stingy, but because the technical flow of spiritual medicine was a huge school. To explain the successful preparation of the 5 elements potion, it was not just a sentence or two. The matter needs to be explained from the beginning. Jason simply doesn't have the time, so he might as well not say anything. And the reason why he taught Locke how to prepare it was to hide his knowledge of elixirs. If he really wanted to tell Locke, everything would be exposed, so he might as well just do it himself. Alas! Looking at Jason, Locke was stunned for a long time, and could only sigh helplessly. He didn't know whether what Jason said before was true or false, but he also knew that being able to learn the special preparation method of the 5 elements potion was already very profitable for him. He still wanted to ask, it is unreasonable to blame others for their own reasons. People are not their own teachers and have no obligation to teach them at all. Even their own teachers have the right to choose whether to teach some of their own things to their students. I am still human, Locke sighed secretly in his heart. Lord Jace at this moment, Kester and others also gathered around, looking at Jason's face. Their eyes were all filled with confusion. They couldn't believe that Jason's method could actually allow Locke to successfully prepare the 5 elements potion. How much time had passed since before? Half an hour, less than half an hour. In a short period of time, Master Locke mastered a 5th-level high-grade elixir with just the guidance from his mouth. How could such a thing happen? Coincidence, it must be a coincidence. They all thought so in their hearts. But regardless of whether it was a coincidence or not, Jason allowed Locke to master a 5th-level high-grade elixir. For today's Mori family, Master Locke, who has reached the 5th-level advanced elixir master, is exactly what the family needs. Okay, everyone, get out of the way. The bet isn't over yet. Well, Locke, you should take a short rest and prepare the 2nd elixir immediately. Jason said indifferently. Kester and the others were stunned for a moment. Because of their extreme shock, they all forgot that Jason and Locke were in the middle of a bet at this moment. No, Master Jace, let's start now. At this time, Locke's tone was full of respect for Jason. Although Locke was shocked by the previous preparation of the 5 elements potion, in fact, he did not consume much physical and spiritual energy. He did not need to rest at all, and he could directly enter the next preparation. Okay, let's start preparing the 2nd elixir immediately. Luoquan was also extremely excited. How much would it be if Lord Jace could continue to be so lucky? Kester and others were looking forward to it. But soon, Kester, who seemed to have thought of something, was stunned again. During the previous bet, Master Locke seemed to have said that as long as Master Jace could advance him to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master, he would listen to Master Jace from now on. Wouldn't this mean that our Mori family would lose an Elixir Master? After all, Locke is just a guest of the Mori family, not a descendant of the Mori family, and has no blood connection with the Mori family. Kester, who thought about this issue at this moment, couldn't help but feel happy. On the one hand, he hopes that Jason can win, so that Locke, who has become a 5th-level Senior Elixir Master, can increase the weight of his family in the family competition. On the other hand, Kester hopes that Jason will fail. A master of elixirs like Locke is simply not something a family like them can afford to lose. While Kester was worrying about gains and losses, Locke at the experimental table had already started to prepare the 2nd bottle of elixir under the guidance of Jason. The 3rd update will be very late. Brothers and sisters who have jobs don't have to wait. The Weeping Spirit Potion I asked you to prepare is called the Fire Spirit Potion. Jason said indifferently. Fire Spirit Potion. Locke nodded and said nothing. The Fire Spirit Potion is considered extremely difficult among 5th-level high-grade spirit potions, but even the most difficult 5 elements potion has been prepared previously, so this Fire Spirit Potion is nothing at all. After the previous influence of the 5 elements potion, Locke could be said to have obeyed Jason's words at this moment, and would not have the slightest disobedience to Jason's command. No, it's actually the fire spirit potion this time? The elder of the elixir on the side exclaimed again. The 5 elements potion that Jace prepared before was actually the fire spirit potion this time. It's really the previous 5 elements potion, can be distinguished according to the different colors of the 5 solutions. This fire spirit potion uses 1 to 5. There are 5 types of fire-type crystal cores, all of which are pure red. Let's see what tricks Jace can do now. The old man muttered while shaking his head. The 5 elements potion was concocted by his bad luck, and this fire spirit potion, wait for it to be exposed. Although the previous preparation was amazing and the result exceeded everyone's expectations, the ability shown by Jason did not look like a powerful elixir master at all. This elder, who was only a 3rd level low-level elixir master, was already completely. I think Jason doesn't understand how to prepare real elixirs. As an elixir master, the first thing to consider when preparing the elixir is his own safety. However, when Jason taught Master Locke to prepare the 5 elements elixir, the method he mentioned was it succeeded, but if one is not careful, if the spiritual elements completely riot, it is likely to lead to a disaster. For a spiritual medicine master, this method should almost be despised. Although the elder's muttering was not loud, it was keenly heard by Jason, who was extremely strong. He turned around and said, "I don't know how to call this elder?" He couldn't help but was stunned. After realizing that Jason was talking to him, he immediately smiled and said, "Marconi, the 3rd elder of the Mori family." "Oh, it turns out to be Elder Marconi." Jason nodded. Elder Marconi has extensive knowledge, and I am deeply impressed by you. However, I don't know where Elder Marconi has seen the flying pig gone beast, but I am very curious. Marconi's face turned red. The previous he said, if the 5 elements potion guided by Jason can be prepared successfully, then the pig beasts can fly. Haha. There was a burst of laughter from the people around. Then, let's start preparing it now, Locke, you will first. Jason no longer paid attention to Elder Marconi, but began to instruct the preparation of the fire spirit potion. Prepared. The 5th level high-grade fire spirit potion is a great temptation for a fire spiritual master. The powerful fire spiritual power contained in it can make a 5-year-old who has exhausted all his spiritual power. The 1st level fire-type sect spiritual master can restore the spiritual power to full value in a short time, while the 6th level spiritual master can recover at least half of the spiritual power in a short time. Even the 7th level imperial spiritual master has certain abilities. The role of it and the materials required for its preparation are also extremely simple, just the 1st to 5th level fire element spiritual cores and a stone. The first step in its preparation is also extremely simple. Like the 5 elements potion, it is to extract all the fire element essences from 5 different grades of fire spiritual cores using elemental separation liquid. Under Jason's guidance, Locke quickly extracted all the spiritual element essences from the 5 fire spiritual cores from the 1st to the 5th levels. On the experimental table in front of Locke, 5 bottles of medicine containing fiery red solution were placed there quietly, reflecting the red halo, which looked extremely magnificent and deathly. These 5 bottles of fire element essence seem to be exactly the same at first glance, but if you look carefully, you can see that they still have some differences. The structure between the fire elements in the low-level fire element essence is not detailed enough. The color of the solution is lighter, and the structure between the fire elements in the high-end fire element essence is more precise and delicate, so it looks a bit dull. Of course, you can also see their differences in simpler ways. The elemental fluctuations of the low-level fire element essence are subtle, while the high-level ones are more powerful. At this point, it is the most obvious difference between them. What Locke needs to do next is to completely integrate these 5 different levels of fire-nosed elemental essences. The whole step is extremely simple, just like the preparation process of the 5 elements potion. It just involves continuously injecting the 5 fire element essences from low level to high level into the preparation bottle, allowing the 5 fire element essences of different structures to be completely integrated. Together, a new elemental structure combination is formed, and the fire spirit potion is successfully prepared. However, the most difficult thing is precisely here. The elixir master, who does not know how to control the spiritual sense, cannot identify the structure between the 2 fire element essences in the prepared bottle and the extent of the fusion reaction, so as to judge his own when should I add the next level of fire element essence. Very good, Locke. What you need to do now is to ignite the flame lamp on the experimental table. Well, adjust the flame spitting volume to the second microspeed. Go up, and then bring me the formation pen and alchemy magnifying glass on the side. Come on, this time Jace used a magnifying glass and a pattern pen. The people on the side suddenly became excited as if they had been given a shot of chicken blood, as if they had taken aphrodisiacs, their faces full of excitement, red light, full of excitement. Damn, it seems this kid doesn't need a color comparison chart this time. Elder Marconi muttered in his heart, look what tricks he can do with the array pen and magnifying glass. Locke heard Jason's instructions, immediately walked aside and picked up the formation pen and magnifying glass, but that action gave people an extremely uncoordinated feeling. Thinking about it, it is obvious that he is a painter, but instead of taking paints and brushes, he picks up an engraver's knife and sharp hammer and walks in front of the painting. Naturally, it is hard to accept for a moment. Seeing Locke bringing the array pen and magnifying glass over, Jason nodded and said, Locke, first of all, extract 20 milliliters of the first-order fire element essence, put it into the preparation bottle, and use the array pen to make a mark on the scale of the solution, then place the preparation bottle on a flame lamp to burn it. When the solution boils, extract 20 milliliters of second-order fire element essence, put it into the preparation bottle, and then use an alchemical magnifying glass. Observe the solution. As the flame burns, bubbles will appear in the solution. What you want to calculate is the bubbles that exceed the scale of the array pen. When the 50th bubble exceeding the scale appears, add 20 milliliters of 3. The essence of the fire element was quickly put into the preparation bottle. Do you understand? Gah, this preparation. Everyone present listened to Jason's story, and their expressions of excitement before were suddenly stunned. This time it was about comparing colors, but this time it was about counting bubbles with a magnifying glass. This is what Jace is talking about, really, the preparation of elixirs? Is he sure this is not the Enlightenment education for mainland children? Jason's method of buying and relying on absurdity once again made everyone present dumbfounded. What is the truth? Because before, the reason why Jason used color control to prepare the 5 elements potion was that the people present did not immediately doubt the export as before, but frowned and began to think in their hearts. The success of the 5 elements potion can also be said to be that when the solution reacted, the specific characteristics shown by the reaction between solutions of different properties reaching a certain level. But what is the principle of this bubble? Everyone's mind is like a ball of mush, and it is difficult to understand. Not to mention those who are not elixir masters, even Master Locke, who is a 5th-level intermediate elixir master in operation, has searched all the elixir knowledge in his mind, but he still doesn't understand the truth behind Jason's instructions. But this does not hinder the movements in his hands. Locke, who obeyed Jason's words, was like a primary school student who had just gone to school, and Jason was like his teacher. For a primary school student, what the teacher said was extremely sacred and must be obeyed. In the flame lamp under heating, the first-order fire element essence with extremely high activity and extremely violent elemental activity boiled quickly. Locke's expression was calm, and he quickly added 1 milliliter of water into the preparation bottle. The first-level fire element essence. The originally boiling first-level fire element solution quickly calmed down, and traces of bubbles slowly appeared at the bottom of the preparation bottle, like pearls, attached to the crystals at the bottom of the preparation bottle. The wall is crystal clear. As the flame lamp continued to heat, some small bubbles finally became unstable and began to float precariously from the walls of the preparation bottle. Locke carefully held the magnifying glass and carefully observed the number of bubbles in the preparation bottle. In order to observe more carefully, he squatted in front of the experimental table and did not dare to blink more. His expression was extremely rigorous. 3, 2, 3. In order not to forget the number of bubbles, Locke would read out loud every time he saw a bubble that met the requirements. Imagine a person with gray hair and a wrinkled face. The elixir master with a serious and dignified appearance was lying in front of a bottle like a child, and then loudly counted the number of bubbles. Such a scene was undoubtedly extremely funny. But there was no smile in the laboratory. No matter how unreliable Marconi and the others felt about Jason's method, Locke's rigorous attitude made them feel sincere respect. They felt that if they and Master Locke changed places, they would never be able to obey Jason's instructions when they heard the weird methods Jason said. In a short time, 50 bubbles met the requirement. Locke's body trembled hurriedly. Regardless of his body becoming stiff from squatting there for a long time, he had already prepared a ml of third-level fire element essence. Quickly put it into the preparation bottle. Pung, a subtle popping sound came, and the preparation bottle that had been bubbling before suddenly cooled down again. The air is filled with a lot of restless fire spiritual elements. Very well, Locke, what you need to do next is to mark the new solution scale, and then continue to use the alchemical magnifying glass to observe the solution. This time you want to calculate whether the bubbles exceed the second mark or not. 50 bubbles. When the 50th bubble appears, which is larger than the second bubble, quickly put yang ml of 4th level fire element essence into the preparation bottle, Jason said expressionlessly. Locke nodded solemnly, and then continued to observe. This time everyone present did not speak. They all stood there quietly, waiting for the preparation results to appear. Soon, a large number of bubbles appeared again. When the 50th bubble appeared, Locke added the 4th level fire element essence. Following Jason's instructions, Locke once again observed the solution. This time, what he counted were the bubbles beyond the third mark. At the same time, what was being prepared on the side was the final 5th level fire element essence. Bubbles popped up one by one. Locke's eyes were a little swollen due to long observation, but his heart was tight and he did not dare to be careless in the slightest. It's this time the 50th bubble beyond the third mark finally appeared. Locke was so excited that he poured the last 5th level fire element essence into it in full view of everyone. The moment the two solutions completely blend together. Alas, a large piece of fiery red mist suddenly rose from the mouth of the preparation bottle, and a rich and almost difficult to dissolve fire spiritual power quickly spread in the laboratory. The two fire element elders, including the Kester clan leader, suddenly felt an incomparable sense of relief. This is... Chief Kester and others looked at the bottle of red crystal-like solution in front of Locke with shock. The powerful fluctuations in spiritual power and the feeling that made the fire spiritual master extremely comfortable were clearly the powerful restorative fire. This is a situation that can only be caused by Wu's medicine. Is the fire spirit potion really prepared like this? Everyone present had expressions of disbelief on their faces. Their eyes were wide open and they could hardly believe what they were seeing. The success of one elixir may be a coincidence, but with two elixirs, everyone looked at Jason with inexplicable shock in their eyes. Well, I was watching the teacher prepare this fire spirit potion, and I was bored counting the bubbles. I didn't expect that every time I counted to 50, the teacher would add the next level of elemental essence, so feeling the ghostly expressions on everyone's face, Jason waved his hands and said helplessly, "If you just look around, you can find two ways to prepare a 5th level high-grade spiritual potion. I have to say that Jason's luck is too good, right?" Everyone did not want to believe Jason's words, but the facts it was before their eyes, but they couldn't tolerate disbelief. "Good phone, Locke, I won the bet." Tomorrow you can go to the Empire's Elixir Masters Union for a level appraisal. Master Locke, a 5th level senior elixir master. Jason looked at him with a smile on his face. Locke stood in front of the experimental table, wondering what he was thinking. For a long time, Locke couldn't help but reveal a bitter smile on his face, and then he said, "You won, Master Jace. Will it take me 1 day to advance from the 5th level intermediate level to the 5th level advanced level?" "Haha, it's only been less than 2 hours." Locke's face was full of loneliness, and he said bitterly, "From now on, I, Locke, will be yours. No matter what you say, I, Locke, will definitely obey any of your instructions." The expressions of Kester and others changed instantly, but they couldn't say anything. Locke was just a guest of their family, not a member. They couldn't say anything either. No, something must be done, everyone was thinking. "I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case at this moment." Elder Marconi came out. "Master Jess, I, Marconi, admire you very much for your attainments in elixir science, but I was in the council hall before. What it says in it is that Your Excellency has promoted Master Locke to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master in 1 day. As far as I know, a spiritual elixir master must master 3 elixirs of that level in order to become a spiritual elixir of that level. Pharmacist, what you are teaching Master Locke now are only 5 elements potion and fire spirit potion. There is still one missing." "Yes, it seems that there is still one missing." Everyone also spoke out one after another. Although Jason is the benefactor of the Mori family, in the face of the interests of the family, the elders of these families are not willing to give in easily. Locke is the most powerful elixir of the Mori family. If he leaves him, the overall strength of the Mori family will drop by at least 30%. This is the power of a high-level elixir. "Oh, Elder Marconi, haven't you heard of the fusion preparation method?" Jason turned around and asked. Fusion preparation method. Everyone couldn't help but look at each other. They, who are not elixir masters, naturally didn't understand what this was. "Oh, I forgot. You are only a 3rd level elixir master, so naturally you don't understand this fusion preparation." "What on earth is the law?" Jason pretended to understand, and then said, "Master Locke, tell them what's going on." Locke on the side gave a wry smile and said, "Elder Marconi, since Master Jace asked me to learn how to prepare the fire spirit potion, as long as I fuse the 5th level low-grade healing potion and the fire spirit potion, I can make it. Another 5th level high-grade spiritual potion, fire healing potion. This fire healing potion has a great therapeutic effect on fire spiritual masters. For fire spiritual masters, its efficacy is almost equivalent to that of a 6th grade low-grade healing potion. The fusion and preparation of these 2 kinds of spiritual potions is extremely simple, so in fact, when I learned the fire spirit potion, a 5th level high-grade spiritual potion, it was equivalent to directly learning 2 kinds of 5th grade high-grade spiritual potions." But on the side, Marconi and others were dumbfounded. However, they could not say anything after walking for a long time. For them, it should be a good thing for Locke to advance to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master, but everyone is really not happy in their hearts. Locke suddenly said, "Master Jace, I have been in the Mori family for 20 years. I hope to stay in the Mori family for another year and do more things for the Mori family. When the time comes, I will follow Master Jace again. I wonder what you think. Of course, if you need me, Locke, to follow you immediately, I, Locke, am willing to admit defeat and I will not have any complaints." Locke looked at Jace quietly. Sen, and everyone present was looking forward to Jason. If Locke could stay with the family for 1 more year, the family would have a certain amount of time to recover the losses. "It's up to you. Since you want to stay for 1 more year, just stay with the Mori family for 1 more year." Jason casually made a bet to let Locke advance to the 5th level of Advanced Elixir Master, but Jason a last resort. In fact, with Jason's current power and strength, a 5th level Senior Elixir Master is nothing to him, and even if Locke is willing to follow him now, he cannot take Locke on the road with him. After hearing Jason's answer, everyone present let out a heavy breath. Kester and the others couldn't decide whether Locke would stay or go. Now Jason has promised Locke to stay in the Mori family for 1 year. For the Lee family, it is undoubtedly the best ending. In fact, with the help of Jason, Locke, who has been promoted to the 5th level of Senior Elixir Master, will become a trump card in the family competition 3 days later. If he wins this time, the family competition, the Mori family will surpass the Loki family in the next 10 years and take the initiative in various industries in Tianhong City. Considering this aspect, the Mori family actually does not lose much. Chief Kester, I still have something very important to discuss with you. Let's talk about it here at this moment, Jason said solemnly. It's very important. Thing? Seeing Jason's solemn expression, Kester and others were shocked. Kester immediately straightened up and said, Master Jace, please tell me, as long as our Mori family can do it, our Mori family will never refuse. Jason said, to be honest, I came to Rainbow City this time to find something called the Blood Abyss Essence. The Blood Abyss Essence, Kester and the others said to each other. After looking at it for a few times, there was a hint of doubt in his eyes. Lord Jace, what is this Blood Abyss Essence? I have never heard of it before. This Blood Abyss Essence is a red one. The spar should be in the secret realm of the Spirit Pond in the Lingqi Mountains of Chi'er Province. The purpose of my trip is also for this, the secret realm of the Spirit Pond. The expressions of Kester and others couldn't help but change. Then what Master Jace means is I hope the Mori family can give me this opportunity in the secret realm of the Spirit Pool. Of course, I will never let your Mori family suffer, Jason directly said to himself. The purpose was stated. Impossible. Before Kester could speak, Marconi and the other elders were the first to speak out. Kester had a look of embarrassment on his face and said bitterly, Lord Jace, it's not that I don't want to give you this opportunity. In fact, although the quota to enter the secret realm of the Spirit Pool is good, it is not for us. For the Mori family, there is not much attraction, but this time, the secret realm of the spiritual pool is related to the life of the child Loken. It is really father among the crowd. Loken walked out. Since Brother Jace needs this quota, let's give it to him. My disease I don't think the Blood Abyss Spiritual Pond can cure at all, and I may not be able to enter the Blood Abyss Spiritual Pond. Instead of wasting this quota, it is better to give it to Brother Jace. Brother Jace is the benefactor of our Mori family. Loken, what are you talking about? Our entire family has worked hard for these years. What is it? It's just to cure your disease, but it really makes me mad. Kester looked at Luoquan fiercely. There was a smile on Jason's face. Chief Kester, I've also heard about Loken's body. Why don't you let me take a look? Maybe I can cure his disease. Jason, he was full of confidence in his heart. As a 9th level holy master of spiritual medicine in his previous life, there was almost no disease that he could not cure on the entire continent. If he could recover his peak strength in his previous life and prepare a 9th level holy spiritual medicine, he would even be able to cure it. It is not necessarily impossible to bring people back to life. When he went to Rainbow City, Jason wanted to take a closer look at Loken's body, but was rejected by Loken, which made Jason quite hurt. Kester hesitated. After spending such a long time with Jason, Kester became more and more confused about Jason, especially since Jason had never been so weird before. This miraculous method allowed Locke to successfully prepare 2 powerful 5th level high-grade spiritual potions. This miraculous method filled Kester's heart with shock. In that case, Loken, go and check Master Jace. Kester looked at Jason expectantly. As long as Master Jace can cure the child's illness, this secret realm of the spiritual pool it doesn't matter if our Mori family just gives it to you. Not to mention the quota of the spiritual pool secret realm, as long as Master Jace likes anything from our Mori family, our Mori family is willing to cede it. Kester, his face was full of determination. In order to treat Loken, the Mori family paid a high price to hire several 5th level senior elixir masters to diagnose Loken, but they all failed. Although Jason's strength and origin made him, Kester couldn't see through it at all, but Kester didn't believe that Jason could really cure Loken's condition. What Kester was thinking about at this moment was the mysterious teacher Jason mentioned. With Master Jace's identity, his teacher is definitely an extremely powerful elixir master. If he can be allowed to treat Loken, then Kester couldn't help but look forward to it. Let Loken enter the Blood Abyss spiritual pool in the secret realm of the spirit pool, but Kester and the others couldn't think of a way to do it. If Jason could really invite a powerful elixir master to treat Loken, it would undoubtedly be the best solution. The medicine master is more convincing. Loken came to Jason extremely nervously. He looked at Jason tremblingly. Brother Jesse, can you really cure my disease one by one? If it were another elixir master who checked him, he would not have much trouble in his heart as he had almost given up hope for his body. However, if the other person was Jason, it would make him feel inexplicably nervous. For Jason, Loken has an almost superstitious belief in his heart. Jason smiled and said, Loken, relax, I promise, I will cure you. Jason's eyes were full of determination and self-confidence made Luo Kuan feel an inexplicable confidence in his heart. Jason's right hand gently placed on Luo Kuan's head, and then the spiritual consciousness in his body quickly entered Luo Kuan's body and observed stand up. The powerful spiritual consciousness is like a scanner, constantly scanning all parts of Loken's body. As the examination continues to deepen, the brows of Jason, who originally had a relaxed and incomparable confidence on his face, gradually wrinkled. This is suddenly, a look of extreme shock appeared on his face, as if he had seen something incredible, and a bright light suddenly burst out in his eyes. The body of the wood spirit is actually the body of the wood spirit. Jason muttered with disbelief in his eyes. What? What's the matter, Master Jace? Besides, Kester and others saw Jason's shocked expression and asked anxiously. Jason waved his hand, indicating that Kester and the others didn't need to speak. Then he asked Lokuan, Isn't it that every mid-month night, I feel weak all over, and then my body is particularly sensitive? Are you also particularly sensitive to the surrounding spiritual energy? This, Brother Jace, how do you know? Luoquan's face immediately showed an expression of extreme shock. The family had found several fifth-level elixir masters for him. As for Locke, even checked him from time to time. However, after examining his body, none of these masters of elixirs told him about his situation. Jason did not speak, but frowned and stretched out his right hand. A powerful spiritual power rose from the fingertips of Jason's right hand, and then instantly transformed into black afterimages, striking at Luo like lightning. All over Kuhn. Papa Jason's phantom right hand brought a sharp whistling sound in the air, and hit Loken's body hard, making a loud explosion. Lord Jace Kester was startled, and just as he took a step forward, Jason's hand stopped. Ah, it feels so comfortable under such a huge blow from Jason. Loken not only did not show any pain on his face, but even moaned. Master Jace, the child's illness is the body of the wood spirit, really the body of the wood spirit. Jason spoke slowly, looking extremely emotional. Looking at the confused eyes of everyone present, Jason said to Kester, Chief Kester, I would like to say congratulations to your Mori family first. This Lord Jace, how happy is this? Yes? And what exactly is this wood spirit body? Kester and others looked at each other with doubts in their eyes. At this time, Loken on the side also came to his senses, his eyes looking at Jason for a moment, extremely nervous. The body of the wood spirit, how do you say it? It is a physique that is extremely sensitive to the power of the wood attribute. Such people are born to be spiritual masters of the wood element. If I guessed correctly, Lokuan's wood element skills are still good. Less than 3 years, right? Moreover, according to my estimation, he only practiced this wood-type technique in the first year, and then stopped. In less than 3 years, he basically did not practice, but he was able to reach the realm of a 4th-level low-level heavenly spirit master. Did you say how strong the wood spirit body is? Jason said to Kester. Kester and others' eyes suddenly widened, and every word Jason said hit their hearts like a heavy hammer. When Kester tested Loken's physical fitness when he was a child, he discovered that Loken was quite sensitive to the wood spiritual element. However, because Loken's physique was extremely weak, he was unable to practice at all. As he slowly nursed back to health, it was not until he was 15 years old that Kester found a volume of wood-based exercises for Loken to practice. However, what Kester did not expect was that because of practicing this wood-based technique, not only did Luo Kuan's health not improve, but his condition became even more serious. Therefore, after practicing for less than a year, Loken was ordered by Kester to stop practicing wood-based skills. However, a scene happened that horrified Kester and the others. Although Loken did not continue to practice, however, the level of spiritual master has never stopped growing. Over the past 2 years, Loken has gradually reached the level of a 4th-level low-level heavenly spiritual master from the 1st level of spiritual power. He has never encountered a bottleneck. This speed of cultivation is enough to scare Kester. What's more important is that as Loken's level increases, not only does his body not get stronger, it actually gets worse.